Hey everyone, welcome to another video. So in today's video, we're going to look at a sector which has been doing well recently, at least in the last couple of weeks, in the last 1 month or so. Now this sector is a sector that has been, not really been doing well in the last many years since especially the stocks were listed. But off late, the momentum is picking up and I feel that these stocks might do well in the future. So the sector we're talking about is the defense sector. As most of you know, India has started this Made in India campaign, and a lot of things have been built made in India. There's this, big campaign that's been running in India. Now, also of late, what's also been happening is this defense sector is seeing an increase in demand. Now, that's primarily because of the recent incidents that's happened between India, China, and the recent events that have been happening globally. Now, since 2014, since Modi came into power, I'm not going into politics here, but I'm just trying to give some facts. So since Modi came into power, the defense spending has been not that much high, but of late it has been increasing. And this year in this budget, we've had some really good increase in that budget for the defense space. And the military expenditure has seen an increase of at least 10%. We'll get in the number shortly, but there's been an increase in that defense space. Now, that focus on the defense space makes the sector a very interesting sector because there has been some problems with companies like HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, Bharat, and these are the two companies that we're looking into, but their order book did not have really good inflows in the recent past. And now that's changing, and there's been a strong increase in the order book, and we're going to look at these two stocks, HAL and Bharat Limited. So in case you've invested in this tech stocks already, or if you've also been following me on Twitter, I posted both the charts a couple of weeks back, and both have already broken out and are looking really good to head higher from here. Okay, so before we jump into the technical plus fundamental analysis, if you did like my analysis, and if you do like my analysis, and if you're following me regularly, don't forget to share the video with your friends. And if you're new to my channel, I'm sure you love my analysis, but don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so that you get all your notifications on your mobile. So let's jump into the video and the stocks for this week, which is from the defense space. The first stock that we're going to look at is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Now, as most of you know, I do combine technicals plus fundamentals, and today we're going to look at a few reports which I've prepared, not prepared, but I've found it on the internet and want to share you some of the findings from there. Okay, so let's look at Hindustan Aeronautics Limited first, and today we're going to look at first the fundamentals before we jump on the technicals. Now, this is a report from HDFC Securities, which was published in the month of August 2021. Now, one of the ways to find out reports, if you want to know about what the companies have been doing, want to know about the sector itself, just do a Google and you might get a lot of research reports. Just say Hindustan Aeronautics Limited research report, star.pdf, which will give you all the PDFs that you want, and it might help you, learn about these companies. So this is a very interesting company, and it is it's a monopoly. It has a monopoly in the Indian aerospace, right? Now, which means there's no other company in India which actually is into the aerospace, especially for the military or for the defense space, right? And that's one of the reasons why I find that this stock has a lot of potential because of the increased spending in the military expenditure, right? So I'm just also going to show you a fact. I'm taking this from a very reliable source, worldbank.org, and if I've selected the military expenditure here, and if you see, in 2020, we've seen already an increase of, the budget as a percent of GDP. We have spent around 2.8% of GDP for the military expenditure. Now, coming to the 2021, 2022, if you just go through the news, you've already seen that there's been an increase of 10 to 20% in the last 2 years, and there has been an increase in budget for this military sector, or the defense sector, right? So that's a short update there, but I'm going to post these links for you in case you want to refer to these research reports. You can go through them and you might find some really good ideas of how this company is, of what the company is into and what the companies are doing. Now, one other important thing that I want to highlight is both the companies that we're discussing today are also, showing interest in trying to export most of their military equipments, or at least try help other countries buy, because the equipments that are sold currently, the services are not that great, and HAL or Hindustan Aeronautics and Bharat wants to fill the space, and they want to increase that service sector and provide good service for companies. So let's look at the stock, and as usual, let's look at the fundamentals. Now, this company is a pretty decent sized company. HAL is around 50,000 crores, and it's a pretty fundamentally you can call it a mid-cap company, and ROC is on 26%. That's a pretty good number. If you've been with me, you'll understand that. And also ROE is on 22%. Now, You can go through all these details. I'm not going to dive into them, but I'm going to look at the PE ratio itself. Now, if you see, since the last 5 years or the last 10 years, there has been a very steady increase in the EPS, and the EPS has been going up continuously, right? And that's one of the interesting reasons, because this company has been growing its EPS, which means the earnings is steady, and the stock price also will follow suit, and it will continue to head higher in the coming days, in the coming years, right? So that's a pretty good sign for the company. Now, the sales have been, volatile. It depends. Every March, you see there is a big expenditure, a big revenue in sales, but then it goes down the other quarter. So it's kind of, they get orders, they probably have big deliveries during March, and then it goes down in the other quarters. But looking at the yearly trend, has been very good. They've been increasing their revenues from 16,000 to 20,000, and this year, in the last 12 months, we have seen a revenue of 24,000 crores, right? With a very good margin of 24%, and they have profits of around 3,500 crores for the last 12 months. Now, that's a pretty good, overall more than 10 to 12% of net profits as a percentage of revenues, and that's been a pretty good growth. In the last 3 years, their profits have grown by an 18% CAGR, right? And also the reserves are pretty decent. They don't have almost nil borrowings recently, so all the borrowings have gone. And this company majority is held by the government. Around 75% is held by the government. But the most interesting thing today that I want to show you is that the FIs have started showing interest of late, right? FIs have increased, and today they hold 3% of all the shares in this company. And I think that's a good thing to note about if you are interested in, buying the stock. So that's a short fundamental analysis or fundamental view on Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. I'm sure you also know a lot of things on this company. Do let me know in the comments. And now let's take a look at the technical analysis. Now, technical analysis is very important to combine your technical analysis knowledge with the fundamental analysis knowledge, because you then get a very good view of what the stock price is doing, and you can see what's happening here. Now, if you see, this company was listed back in 2018, and then we had a strong fall, almost to 500 levels, from 1,000 to 500 levels, almost 50% drop, and then we kind of, are heading higher. It's performing higher lows. But if you look at the recent price action, so we did try to make a new high in the August 2020, but then there was a strong fall, and then now we are heading higher. Now I'm going to just look at the trend since the COVID fall. Now, if you take this trend line here, and if you just connect this, you would see that this is a major trend line support. And this trend line support or the levels of 1240 is the recent low, and that level is going to be very important, because if you break that level, or if you break even levels of 1180, then you're going to go into a consolidation phase, which I think is not going to happen. So for now, we have broken out from this recent highs, and we've consolidated around that zone. There's a major consolidation that's happening, and now we've broken out into new highs. So this week, for the first time since the stock was listed, we are seeing a very good close with very good volumes, right? So this is inverted head and shoulders. So in case you don't know what that is, you can just use this pattern over here, and you can see that this is the left head, and then you have the shoulder, and then you have the right head. And today this week we had an amazing breakout, right? Now that's why today I'm discussing the stock Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Now the next thing is to go into the daily charts and just take a deeper view and see what are the current recent swing low. So recent swing low is 1380, right? So I'm going to keep that as my stop loss, 1380, and I'm going to buy at current market price. And we can look for targets of minimum 2000 initially, because this depth over here, if you see, we're looking at almost a 300 point head and shoulders. So that brings the target to 1800, but definitely 2000 is also might come in the coming months. So that's the first stock that I want to discuss today. Buy at current market price with a stop at 1380, or if you're conservative, you can also keep a stop at 1250 or 1240 around, and you can still look for targets of 2000, right? Now, in case you want to buy the stock, I'd allocate 5% if you are not new to markets, and if you're little experienced, allocate 10% to the stock, and you might, tend to have some really good gains in the coming months in Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. So that's the first stock that I want to discuss today from the aerospace. And don't forget, the expenditure is increasing from the government, which means this is the only company which is going to benefit from the space. So monopoly in the aerospace for the military. And that makes it a very exciting stock. The second stock that we're going to discuss today is Bharat Dynamics Limited. Now, this stock manufactures missiles, and it was also the only company in India which manufactures missiles. It has a heavy inflow of order book in the recent past. FIs have increased the stake, and this company also is exciting and is looking very good to head higher into new highs and also might give you some good returns in the coming years. So as usual, let's look at the research report that I have for you today. We'll start off from there and then we can head into the other areas that we want to discuss. Now, this is from ICICI Securities. Again, a simple Google, you might get such reports. It's a leading defense PSU in India manufacturing guided missile systems, right? So it's a leading defense PSU. I'm not sure if it's a monopoly, so if I was wrong, I'm sorry for that, but do let me know in the comments. But what is important here is the management has reiterated that the possibility of order book expanding to $230 billion over the next 2 years, right? Large part of the acquisition is expected from the Akash 3rd and 4th squadrons, and it's again, the demand is coming from the military space, and I think that this company also can do well. Also, Beetle can play a leading role in the achieving Indian defense export target of 350 billion by CY calendar year 2025, right? So exports and the increase in expenditure is what makes also this stock interesting. So again, I'll put this link for you in the comment in the description below in the YouTube video, and you can use that to read about the report. Okay, so let's look at the kind of company fundamentals. Again, a very decent company, 10,000 crore. It's not a very small company. ROC is good. ROE is also good. PE is okay, around 21. Slightly probably okay valued, and I see some good potential going forward. Now the EPS has been increasing again after the COVID drop. Maybe in recent quarters, as I said, the inflows were not good for these companies. The order book wasn't good because of the reduced spending in military, but that's picking up, and that's why you also see the EPS picking up as well. So it has a direct relation with regards to this spending by the government, right? The next one is the quarterly results have been, again, depends, March again, you see there's a crazy rise in revenue, but overall, if you look at the trend, this company has also been increasing its revenue until 2018, but there's been a sudden dip, and that's probably, I feel, we made a low in terms of revenues in March 2021 of 1,900 crores, and I think that we might again do well going forward. In the coming months, years, we can see some really good profits and revenues from this company. Already the margins have been pretty good. Around 26% was the operating margin. It is already at a new all-time high, while the revenues and profits are still yet to hit all-time high, right? Reserves are good. There's no debt in this company. Again, this company is held majorly by the President of India, 75% by the government, and then you also see here FIs have increased stake, right? So again, a positive sign, because FIs are showing interest. They might know something that we don't know. That's the fundamental analysis for Bharat Dynamics Limited. Now, looking at the technical analysis, as always, again, start with the monthly charts. As usual, you would look at the monthly charts, and if you see, since the company was listed in 2018, we did not had a good close. But in the month of Jan 2022, this year starting, we had a really good close, and since then we had a retest, and now the stock is heading higher. Right now, also you might connect this point, and you can see there's a breakout also there. So one of the reasons that I'm really confident about both companies is they don't have any resistance anytime close, and I feel they can really good some 50 to 100% returns in the coming months and years as well. Right now, going into the weekly charts, also you see there's a swing here. So if you're conservative, you can keep a stop loss around 400 levels, and but if you're aggressive, I'll give you a short interesting way to trade this stock. If you're aggressive, you can also keep a stop loss around the levels of 530, and take a position here, because I feel the dip is done, and I think we're headed higher back to 600 levels. It might go sideways for a few more days before we head higher, but if you're aggressive, you can also keep a stop loss at 530 or 500 and buy the stock at the current market price, right? And the targets here I'm looking for is 1,000 levels. Again, a recent, what do you call it? Round number, nearest target, and we can see that probably in the next 1 or 2 years. And don't forget, this is a very good portfolio stock as well. You might want to have it as part of your core portfolio. Okay, so these are the two stocks I want to discuss today. Now, there are a lot of other stock ideas also that I post on Twitter. So in case you want to follow all my ideas on Twitter, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I'm very active there. YouTube videos I do every weekend because I don't get much time. But otherwise, I'm sure you like my ideas, and I'm sure you will learn how to trade and invest properly with me. So I'll leave you here with these two stock ideas, BDL and HAL. And if you are investing in this stock, do let me know in the comments, and take care, stay safe, and trade safe. Bye-bye.